What's up, everybody? Happy March. Uh, today's message won't take very long. Uh, I do feel compelled to announce for the majority of you uh, the passing of a friend of the show, MFC, on March 2nd. We just concluded the ceremonies. So we're 2 days out from the funeral service. I will do an entire show on the ceremony, which, by the way, was amazing. It was perfect. Everything flawless, other than, we had to bury a 42-year-old man. But that being said, everything was perfect, as I never doubted would be. I'll do an entire show on that process and my role in that and things, and I think we'll do tie into that, walking next to somebody who is terminally ill and all that comes with that. Today is not that day. It's still a little raw, real raw actually. So I won't go into it too much today. I would like to share a story that I think is applicable, especially in the spring. When we think of spring, we think of renewal, right? Like the resurrection of Jesus, and spring cleaning and spring rain that washes all the stuff away, and et cetera, et cetera. I think when we look at the changing of the seasons and we look forward, I think we think of all the things that we want to do and all the things that we want to get done while the weather's nice, or do we want to have some, change in our life and things like this. So the story I want to share, the message I want to share, the message that I'm called to share today is the story of a conversation that I had with Malcolm 2 years ago. And this had to do with my interest in getting into the cold plunge game. And on the way home from work one day, in one of our many phone conversations, I had mentioned to him that I was thinking about getting a cold tub. Like, I was really interested in, how, the physiology of it, the mental. I had a big, long, list of things of why I was interested in this, why this idea was interesting to me, why the idea of it sounded good to me, why it all made sense to me, why things were interesting. And he had a one phrase response that I remember that just kind of hit me so obviously that I didn't even think about it. And when I said I was interested in doing it, he simply replied, "Well, what's holding you back?" And I thought, what do you mean? Well, what he meant was the fact that I had done all this research and I had done all this and I was interested. It piqued my curiosity. Everything about cold plunging was interesting to me. But yet one thing I didn't do was, pardon the pun, take the plunge. I didn't enact the idea. Or at least up to that point, I hadn't put that idea into action. And he simply asked me, why? Basically, he was asking me why. Why haven't you done it? But he simply said, what's holding you back? And I had to think about that for a second. I was like, yeah, man, I guess that's a great question. Why haven't I just pulled the trigger? So it got me thinking, why we do this to ourselves. What does hold us back from doing things? From reaching out to somebody you haven't reached out to several years. Maybe it's making a lunch date, taking time out of your day to partition a few hours off to spend time with other people instead of, doing what you normally do at home, your normal routine, and getting out of that. Why does that bother people? What's holding you back from committing to some sort of engagement, right? Like, what holds us back from applying for a different job? What holds us back from presenting an idea at work that you think is a really, really, really good idea? What holds us back from stepping into the gym after 10 years? What holds us back from pursuing a surgery or something that may improve your life? What holds you back from just walking up to somebody and saying hello? And I look back at all the things that, like, ideas are kind of stupid, right? If you don't put them into action. Like, I don't know how many good ideas have been lost to what's holding you back. And so I came up with three things that I think hold people back. Number one, obviously, the big one, I think, is fear. Sure. The fear of failure. And that one I get. That's a human condition thing. The thought of failing is uncomfortable. I don't know what level of failure you need to achieve to feel bad about something. And I don't mind that feeling. Like, this is coming from a guy that's failed 1,000 times. Like, and I mean, like, I'm willing to try just about anything, right? Like, and I have failed miserably, but I've also succeeded. And that feeling of being successful in trying something new trumps any feeling of failure. Even though I've done probably failure more than I've done. And I mean that by something as simple as trying to fix a vehicle on my own via YouTube. I've done it, and I've also not done it. Like, I've completed it, and I've also had to take not only the maintenance issue and my screw up to a mechanic to get fixed. And I'm not so prideful that I can't do that. But the fear of not completing that thing was a real thing. Like, oh my God, what if I don't get this done? What if I don't fix it? What if it costs me more money? And what if I get it? Like, it's a big deal. But I promise, if you sit in that emotion for a little bit, that failure feeling, I think it's useful, because it should motivate you to not want to feel that way again. Now, what I just said was kind of a double-ended thing. Well, in order to prevent me from feeling that way, I just won't try again. I will just be held back by fear. And that way, I don't have to feel the failure that I did. But man, I'm telling you, that's the wrong way to go. Like, not all negative emotions have negative impact. Like, if you can sit in some sort of nervous anxiety about failure, about not being successful, whether it's right before you take a test or right before, like, if everything was guaranteed, like if you were to be successful at everything, or everything you did turned to gold, where would that resiliency come from? Like, where would you get, right? Like, the satisfaction of being successful is because of the negative feelings that you felt before you tried. Does that make sense? Like, if you went out every day during turkey season and expected to kill a turkey, right? Like, where would that anticipation of failure fit in? And where would be the willingness to do it again come from? So I get that fear holds us back. I get that nobody wants to be rejected. Nobody wants to feel inadequate. Uh, but I can tell you from firsthand experience, uh, those feelings can be useful if turned into a tool. Uh, the second one I think that people kind of get jammed up in is what holds them back is they feel like they don't have time. And I'm here to tell you, you probably do. Now, I will only use myself as the example because that's the only information I have. I have time. I have time to pursue things. I have time to to get out of my own way. I have time to explore ideas. And I think if it's important enough to come into your head, I think if it's important enough to feel on your heart, I think it's important enough to dedicate some time to, right? And I think we use the time thing as a way to kind of make ourselves feel better about not trying. Yeah, I would really. I'll use the batting cage as a really good example. Like there was a couple years where I really wanted to put a batting cage up in my yard, and this is long before Malcolm hit me with what's holding me back. But I can think back now and say, well, what is holding me back from doing that, right? Like what is the hurdle, the obstacle that is holding me back from putting in a batting cage? Well, I don't know the first thing about putting in batting cages. Okay, well, that problem will take care of itself. Let's start acquiring the things you need to assemble a batting cage first, and then let's worry about putting that shit together. Well, and then it came. Well, I have to dig holes. I have to find out where my pipes are. I have to figure out this and I have to figure out that. And I really could let any. And then it was the liability and the safety issue. Like it's going to be really close to the house. What if this? What if that? There was a lot of things that would deter me from putting in a batting cage. And I could use every one of those as a reason not to. And then I could go tell my friends, yeah, I really wanted to put a batting cage up, but I just can't find the time. It's all bullshit. You can figure it out, and we did. And the point of the story is, it's one of the best things I've ever done, as far as a sense of satisfaction that I've ever done. Really, and the pool is probably number one, but the batting cage thing it was an idea, right? It was an idea, and it came to fruition. And that right there, everybody, is the best feeling in the world. When you can generate an idea, when you can put all the what ifs aside and make it happen. And I wish I had $1 for every good idea I had that I didn't act on because of something that was holding me back. But I think those things that were holding me back were just, and I'm not saying, like, I've always wanted to start a business, right? Uh, there's a lot to, I assume there's a lot to put into a business. Like a business is is an investment, and it's a gamble. Like you can invest a lot into a business and then lose. Now, there's been people in the world that have started 1,000 businesses and lost 999 of them, but that one was what made up for all those losses, and I 100% get that. I would never use the time as an excuse for that. I've had time, and I still do have time. Now, other people's lives are different, but I think if an idea is worth space in your brain, and if it's worth space in your heart, it's worth investing some time to reorganizing your day to put some time in. The third thing I think, and this is what gets me every time. This is what holds me back from 90% of the good ideas I have, or even some of the bad ones, is money. Right? We're public safety. We don't have resources, and I've got a pile of kids. I've traded a pile of kids for a pile of good ideas that I can invest money into. But that is typically my sticking point. I have a lot of wonderfully good ideas that are very expensive, or at least an expense that I'm not willing to to put. I have a very hard time spending money on me when I know that it's, baseball, softball season, or, groceries are at an all-time high, or everybody's got vehicle maintenance due, or things like that. I have a lot of ideas. I have tattoo ideas, man. I want to get in the peptide game. I'm interested in exploring TRT, right? I need a hip for shit sakes. I need a brand new hip. And I need to start exploring that idea as far as getting that done. But I also know that, we haven't even touched our deductible, and that in itself would take the place of a vacation. And oh my God. So that is the limiting factor for me, as always, is money. Now, is there ways around that? Yes, there is. I could work an extra shift, but then I'm trading my time. I could get a part-time job, but then again, I'm trading my time. And I will always go back to the year 2012 when I felt like I had all the money in the world, but I had zero time to use it. And it was, a pretty low year for me, mentally. So I'm not interested in. Now, that being said, I work with dozens of people that are very motivated and work all the time, and they're using that money to put their ideas into action. And I think that's great. So those are my top three things. Those are the top three things I think that hold people back from putting their ideas into motion. And it doesn't mean that once the idea pops in your head that you need to go full Monty, like, 0 to 60 and no time flat. Like, even investing a little bit of time each day, or a little bit of maybe holding back a little bit of money each week or 2 weeks, or maybe we just need to test the waters in order to get over that fear of putting it at. Maybe we need to do something, like just start working on it, and maybe some of that fear goes away. Maybe step one is, let's do some internet research. Okay, I did it. This seems less daunting because I've seen that somebody else has pulled it off. And that's the other thing that I think is, maybe that would be, a distant fourth, like, I'm pretty sure whatever idea I've come up with, I'm not the first guy to come up with it. So it's probably been done before. That in itself should help you at least move the needle a little bit, to know that, well, if it's already been done, I can't have the first batting cage in the world that's gone in somebody's yard. I can't. It just seems improbable. So that means that somebody else has pulled it off. Well, if somebody else can pull it off, I certainly could pull it off. I may not pull it off in the same manner, but that's not the point. The point is, I have an idea, and how do I see that idea through to the finished product? And I think simply asking yourself, what is holding you back? And being honest about it. Not throwing some sort of universal excuse over the whole thing, meaning, well, I just don't have time, or, I don't have this today, or I don't have that today, or whatever. Just be honest with yourself. It's probably fear. You're scared to fail. Get it? But man, once you do it once or twice, it gets a lot easier. You probably have time. If it's a good enough idea to have in your head and in your heart, you have time. Now, I will also, the third one, the money thing, that's a real thing. Like, this world is a lot easier with money. I'm not saying it's happier with money. I'm just saying life seems easier with money. Like, it just affords you things that it doesn't afford you without it. Like, it's plain and simple. And I get it. But there's only so much of that to go around, and we have to allocate that as needed, right? And I totally understand it. But again, if it's an important enough idea to come to your head and to come to your heart, I think there's probably ways that you can figure it out. So One simple question back at me: what's holding you back? And when I answered him with, you know what, Malcolm, I don't really know. Money probably. It's it's going to cost me maybe a couple $100 to get this thing up and running, and that was probably my limiting factor. And but after that conversation, I just went and did it, pulled the trigger, and it was great. Yeah, I think it's one of the best things. I could still be sitting here today, 2 years later, going, man, I'd really like to have a cold tub in this house. Sauna is the next thing. I'm interested in the sauna thing. And if you were to ask me, well, what's holding you back for that? Well, the same thing that holds me back from most of my good ideas: money. Like I just don't have it to invest in a sauna right now, unless I come up with a honey of a deal, like a Facebook Marketplace thing. Then I would probably sacrifice something else for a really good deal on a sauna. But right now, I'm just not interested in, paying full price on a sauna kit. So that idea is going to have to go on the back burner for now. But anyway, that's it. We'll talk more as the weeks come. My reaction and stuff to the week's events, and got to see a lot of wonderful people that I haven't seen in a long time. Holy crap! Like what a I didn't not one negative interaction in the whole thing. I saw a lot of good people. Matter of fact, as I'm sitting here right now, Sheena Corner just is texting me right now. Like, are you kidding me? Man, God works in ways, right? But anyway, that's all I got. We'll talk again in the next couple of weeks. Every time I think I keep running out of content, I think that one thing that Malcolm has given me and given us, certainly in the next several weeks, is something to talk about. So we'll go with that. All right, everybody, be safe, work hard, be kind. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks again for listening to another episode of the Shift Change Podcast. I need to ask if you would leave a rating. I think that it helps people who are new to the podcast find it quicker. It doesn't do me any good, but it does help other people that are looking for the Shift Change Podcast on Spotify or Apple. It just comes up quicker the more ratings that you give it. Whether you give it a 2 or a 5, it doesn't make a difference. It just helps other people. If you need to get a hold of me, contact me via my email, the show email, which is talkshiftchange@gmail.com. Or you can message me on Instagram at talk.shiftchange. Excuse me, at talk.shiftchange on Instagram. As always, thanks for listening. I could not have imagined how well this podcast has been received. So, as always, I appreciate it. Work hard, be kind.